If it's true that guns are most dangerous to gun owners themselves, then why does the left have to lie to prove it? I'm PJTV's Scott Ott, joined now by Bill Whittle and Stephen Green. And men, more than 4 million people have now seen a video that starts with words on the screen saying over 60% of Americans think owning a gun will make their lives safer. To make first-time gun buyers think twice, we did the unthinkable. We opened a gun shop in NYC with hundreds of guns, all of them with a history. Hidden cameras captured the gun buyers' reactions.
I'm pro Second Amendment, so it's like, it's kind of hard to find that around in New York City, It's
like I was showing your wife, the first gun I showed her was this revolver. It's the easiest gun we have to use. It's, it's our most popular one. It's this 22 caliber 6-inch revolver. It's also a gun that a 5-year-old found in his parents' bedroom, went down and shot his 9-month-old baby brother with it.
When it says shooter, 5-year-old kid, dead one, what does that mean?
That's the history.
This is the gun that the guy shot.
That's the gun.
This is the one? This is the one that the kid used? Holy shit.
Can't take this shit back after you do it.
This is a 9mm semi-automatic. It's a very handy gun. It's easy to use. Carry it in a purse like that gal from the Walmart. 2-year-old son reaches into her pocketbook, pulls it out, shoots her. Dead, gone, no mom. Collectors love this one. Adam Lanza's mom had this in her collection too. Till he took this and several other guns and killed her. Then went down to Sandy Hook, killed 6 teachers and 20 innocent children.
The response to this video earlier this year was emotionally enthusiastic on one side and rationally critical on the other side. But neither side paid much attention to the fact that almost everything about this effort to speak truth about dangerous weapons was fabricated. The store was built overnight and disassembled 2 days later. The gun salesman Ned Luke is an actor, ironically most famous for his work as Michael DeSanta in the violent video game Grand Theft Auto 5. The firearms are all Hollywood props, not a single functioning gun in the store. Therefore, the central premise of the ad, that every gun has a story, is only true in the abstract, not for these weapons. But what about the customers? A gun rights blog called The Shooter's Log claims that they were actors, not people who just saw the storefront and came in because they wanted to buy their first gun. In fact, blogger David Cadrea links to a parking permit request that describes what the gun control crew would be filming. And it says actors are interviewed on camera in a fake gun store. Now, I contacted States United to Prevent Gun Violence that made the video, and communications director Kathy Wittenberg told me, quote, the only actor in the video was the man behind the counter. All other persons were selected from a focus group by a marketing research firm. They were not actors and were not given any sort of script. In a follow-up email, Kathy told me nobody walked in off the street, but she claims they were all people who had recently expressed interest in purchasing a firearm. Now, Stephen Green, don't you agree that sometimes the truth needs a little help? I mean, what's the difference between this and a guy who, say, writes fake news stories for a political satire site to make his point?
If you like the plan you have, you can keep it. Nobody's going to take your doctor away. Is there one damn thing the progressive left can get its way on without lying its ass off? And the answer is no. Every time they want to do one of these things, they want to crack down on fraternities, so they've got to make up rape stories.
Right.
They want to pass Obamacare, so they tell the political lie of the century, and the century is not very old yet. I'm thinking of Mad Men. The opening credits of Mad Men when Don Draper is descending from the skyscraper. That's it. It's pushed out of the skyscraper of lies, and that's all it is from top to bottom to the big crack. Not one damn thing is true in that video. Fake guns, fake story, fake seller, fake what? It's all fake. That's all they have left. They're done. Shine the bright light of reality on these people, and we win every time. Don't put up with these lies, please, people.
Now, this sincerely concerned gun control group could have posted a video that said something like, we assembled a focus group, selected some participants from it, and then fooled them into thinking they were going gun shopping to prove our point. But Bill Whittle, let's face it, that facially honest approach would never have reached 4 million people on YouTube. Don't you agree that the ends, the life-saving ends, justify the means in this case?
Well, I think everybody knows by now I'm a pretty staunch gun rights supporter. I had a virtual presidency video, did well over 1 million views on pro-gun rights. But I have to say that this video did bring something to my attention, because what they're doing in this video is they're trying to show the individual life history of each gun. This was the gun that murdered those kids at Sandy Hook. This was the gun that took the life of a mother. And I think most people will probably be surprised to know that I'm in favor of finding out what those guns are and having them destroyed, because as you well know, Scotty, once a gun has tasted man flesh, it can never lose the taste for it again. Once a gun has tasted the sweet, sweet blood of human beings, then that particular gun and its entire history must be put down in the same way that a bear would have to be put down if it tasted man flesh in a national park. Right? Because as we all know, it's the gun that leapt out of the gun case and shot all those people in Sandy Hook. It's the gun that flew out of the purse of that woman and murdered the 2-year-old child, or whatever the case may be. It's the inanimate object that just suddenly got it into its head to just kind of pop out and run around. Now, if it turns out that's not the case, if it turns out that it is in fact an inanimate piece of steel, then the identity of the gun and what the gun has done prior to this is absolutely as irrelevant as the history of your toaster or the history of your brake pads. It's absolutely ridiculous, and everybody knows it. But what they're trying to do, you see, is by demonizing the gun instead of by the shooter, instead of saying that this woman was reckless by leaving a loaded gun in her purse that a 2-year-old could fire, or whatever the case may be, they're taking the responsibility away from the people, placing it on an inanimate piece of steel, and creating this narrative that the gun is the problem, when everybody knows the gun isn't the problem. The gun is a tool. It's a weapon. If it's used to defend somebody's life, it's a good gun. If it's used to take somebody's life, it's a bad gun. And the gun can be a good gun and then a bad gun and back and forth all day long. It just doesn't matter. Because if we were talking about the stories, if we were talking about the individuals and the basis for these actual stories, you know, the stories about the actual people, not about this inanimate piece of steel, then their case would fall apart, which is why they have to lie and welcome to the age of Obama. By the way, that was the crappiest gun store I've ever seen in my life. I mean, honestly, all you had to do, anybody walk in there and goes, "What is this? Is this a prop store? What's in back there? Is that where the guys with the microphones are? What have you got there on display there, champ? 6, 7, 10? I don't know, but." Nobody believes they're selling AR-15s in New York City in the first place, right? I mean, come on. How stupid do you have to be? You have to surrender your weapons before you get off the plane at John F. Kennedy Airport. It's just, yeah, whatever. Simple-minded progressives buy it. The rest of us go, nah.
Yeah.
Well, late this morning, I spoke with one of the producers that was hired to make this video. He said he had a non-disclosure agreement with the ad agency that made the video, and that his business isn't primarily political, and therefore he couldn't even tell me whether he had applied for a city permit. So here's my disease, and maybe you have this condition as well. The first time I watched this video, my thoughts were these. Look at the size of that muzzle. That's not a .22 revolver.
No.
Hey, get your finger off that trigger, you idiot.
Idiot.
And he racked that 12 gauge and nothing happened. Not to mention all the times I said, nonsense, baloney, yeah, right, and stuff like that. See, that's my problem. I'm rational, and I know a few things about guns. In other words, I'm not the audience for this video. Now, even if the gun store customers were not actors, which means that someone lied on the permit request, they were also not what they appeared to be. So States United to Prevent Gun Violence pranked these fake customers and then lied to the audience for the video, making it look like strangers came in to buy a gun. Now, they know that social media loves a hidden camera prank, and in their devotion to their cause, honesty is no obstacle. Frankly, we can't compete with this, because our own allies would call BS if we set up a fake gun shop and told the phony customers that all the weapons in it were used to save the lives of women, children, and innocent bystanders. And so, hemmed in by our integrity, we continue to pray that the truth will out. For Bill Whittle, Stephen Green, and the entire Trifecta crew at PJTV.com, I'm Scott Ott.